Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parejana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Bitam Cha Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasma Shigurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Sapurakam Garaganara Sesha Sambhusitam Chintya Chintya Samastaveda Nipunam Shirupa Patanagam Govindabhidam Ujjwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijapranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandabaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Baranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubhadam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Siddharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Adi-lila chapter 12, the expansions of Adwaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. And this is verse number 56. Shri Yadunandana Acharya Dvaitara Shaka Tarashaka Upashakar Nahi Hoileka. The fifth branch of Adwaita Acharya was Sri Yadunandana Acharya, who had so many branches and sub-branches that it is impossible to write of them all. Yadunanda Acharya was the official initiator, spiritual master of Raghunath Das Goswami. In other words, when Raghunath Das Goswami was a householder, Yadunandana Acharya initiated him at home. Later, Raghunath Das Goswami took shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. Vasudeva Datter Teho Kriparabajan Sarva Babe Ashriyache Chaitanya Charan. Sri Yadunandana Acharya was a student of Vasudeva Datta, and he received all his mercy. Therefore, he could accept Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet from all angles of vision as the supreme shelter. Bhagavad Acharya Ara Vishnu Das Acharya Chakrapani Acharya Ara Ananta Acharya Bhagavad Acharya, Vishnudas Acharya, Chakrapani Acharya, and Ananta Acharya were the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th branches of Adwaita Acharya. In his Anubhashya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada says that Bhagavad Acharya was formerly among the followers of Adwaita Acharya, but was later counted among the followers of Gadadhar Pandit. The 6th verse of Shaka Nirnayamrita, a book written by Yadunandana Das, states that Bhagavad Acharya compiled a famous book of the name Prema Tarangini. According to the Gorga Anadesh Dipika, Bhagavad Acharya formerly lived in Vrindavan as Sveta Manjari. Vishnu Das Acharya was present during the Ketari Mahotsav. He went there with the Chutananda, as stated in the Bhakti Ratnakara. Ananta Acharya was one of the 8 principal gopis. His former name was Sudevi. Although he was among Adwaita Acharya's followers, he later became an important devotee of Gadadhar Goswami. Nandiniyar Kamadeva Chaitanya Das Durlabha Vishvasara Vanamali Das. Nandini, Kamadevi, Chaitanya Das, Durlabha Vishwas, and Vanamali Das were the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th branches of Sri Adwaita Acharya. Jagannathakara, Arakara, Bhavarta, Jagannath Kora, Ara Kora, Bhavanata, Hridayananda Senara, Dasha, Bolanata, Jagannath Kara, Bhavanath Kara, Hridayananda Sena, and Bolanath Das were the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th branches of Adwaita Acharya. Yadavadas, Vijaydas, Dasha Janardana, Anantadas, Kanu Pandit, Dasha Narayan. Yadavadas, Vijaydas, Janardan Das, Anantadas, Kanu Pandit, and Narayan Das were the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th branches of Adwaita Acharya. Srivatsa Pandita, Brahmachari Haridas, Purushottama Brahmachari Ara Krishnadas, Srivatsa Pandit, Haridas Brahmachari, Purushottama Brahmachari, and Krishnadas were the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th branches of Adwaita Acharya. Purushottama Pandit Ara Raghunath, Vanamale Kabichandra Ara Vidyanath. Purushottama Pandit, Raghunath, Vanamali Kabichandra, and Vaidyanath were the 29th, 30th, 31st, and 32nd branches of Adwaita Acharya. Lokanath Pandit Ara Murari Pandit, Sri Hari Charan Ara Madhava Pandita. Lokanath Pandit, Murari Pandit, Sri Hari Charan, and Madhava Pandit were the 33rd, 34th, 35th, and 36th branches of Adwaita Acharya. Vijay Pandit Ara Pandita Shriram, Asankhya Dvaita Shaka Kataloiba Anam. Vijay Pandit and Sri Ram Pandit were two important branches of Adwaita Acharya. There are innumerable branches, but I am able to mention them all. Srivas Pandit was an incarnation of Narad Muni, and thus Srivas's younger brother, Sri Ram Pandit, is accepted as an incarnation of Parbat Muni, Narad Muni's most intimate friend. Malidata Jala Adwaita Skanda Jogyai. Malidata Jala Adwaita Skanda Yogai. Se Jale Jia Saka Fula Fala Pai. The Adwaita Acharya branch received the water supplied by the original gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, the sub-branches were nourished and their fruits and flowers grew luxuriantly. The branches of Adwaita Acharya nourished by the water, Jala, supplied by Sri Jal. The branches of Adwaita Acharya nourished by the water, Jal, supplied by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are to be considered bona fide acharyas. As we have discussed here and before, the representatives of Adwaita Acharya later divided into two groups: the bona fide branches and the acharya. The bona fide branches of the Acharya's disciplic succession and the pretentious branches of Adwaita Acharya. Those who follow the principles of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu flourished, whereas the others who are mentioned below in the 67th verse dried up. Iharamadye male pache kon shakagan namane Chaitanya male durdaiva karan. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of the branches, for unfortunate reasons, deviated from his path. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of the branches, for unfortunate reasons, deviated from his path. Sri Jaila Jiaila Tarina Manila Kritagna Hoila Tare Skanda Kruda Hoila. Some branches did not accept the original trunk that vitalized and maintained the entire tree. When they thus became ungrateful, the original trunk was angry at them. Kruda Hoya Skandatare Jalana Sanchare Jalabave Krisha Shaka Shukaya Mare. Thus Lord Chaitanya did not sprinkle upon them the water of his mercy, and they gradually withered and died. Chaitanya Rohita Deho Shuska Kashta Sam Jivitai Mritase Maile Dande Jam. A person without Krishna consciousness is no better than dry wood or a dead body. He is understood to be dead while living, and after death he is punishable by Yamaraj. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th Canto, 3rd chapter and 29th verse, Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, tells his assistants what class of men they should bring before him. There he states, a person whose tongue never describes the qualities and holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose heart never throbs as he remembers Krishna and his lotus feet, and whose head never bows in obeisances to the Supreme Lord, must be brought before me for punishment. In other words, non-devotees are brought before Yamaraj for punishment, and thus material nature awards them various types of bodies. After death, which is dehantara, a change of body, non-devotees are brought before Yamaraj for justice. By the judgment of Yamaraj, material nature gives them bodies suitable for the reactions of their past activities. This is the process of dehantara, or transmigration of the self from one body to another. Krishna-conscious devotees, however, are not subject to be judged by Yamaraj. For devotees, there is an open road, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. After giving up the body, Chaktva Deham, a devotee never again has to accept another material body, for in a spiritual body he goes back home, back to Godhead. The punishments of Yamaraj are meant for persons who are not Krishna conscious. Kevala Gana Prati Nahi Edanda Chaitanya Vimuka Jay Seta Pashanda. Not only the misguided descendants of Adwaita Acharya, but anyone who is against the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be considered an atheist, subject to be punished by Yamaraj. Ki Pandita Ki Tapasvi Kiva Grihi Jati Chaitanya Vimuka Jay Tara E Gati. Be he a learned scholar, a great ascetic, a successful householder, or a famous sannyasi, one who is against the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is destined to suffer for the punishment meted out by Yamaraj. Jai Jai Loila Sri Achutananda Mata Se Acharya Gana Mahabhagavata. The descendants of Adwaita Acharya who accepted the path of Sri Achutananda were all great devotees. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, in his Amrita Pravahabhasha, states this short note: Sri Adwaita Acharya is one of the important trunks of the Bhakti Kalpataru, or desire tree of devotional service. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a gardener, poured water on the root of the Bhakti tree and thus nourished all its trunks and branches. But nevertheless, under the spell of Maya, the most unfortunate condition of a living entity, some of the branches, not accepting the gardener who poured water on them, considered the trunk the only cause of the great Bhakti Kalpataru. In other words, the branches of descendants of Adwaita Acharya who considered Adwaita Acharya the original cause of the devotional creeper, and who thus neglected or disobeyed the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, deprived themselves of the effect of being wanted, and thus dried up and died. It is further to be understood that not only the misguided connections, It is further to be understood that not only the misguided descendants of Adwaita Acharya, but anyone who has no connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if he be independently a great sannyasi, a learned scholar, or ascetic, is like a dead branch of a tree. Let's see. It is further to be understood that not only the misguided descendants of Adwaita Acharya, but anyone who has no connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if he is independently a great sannyasi, learned scholar, or ascetic, is like a dead branch of a tree. This analysis by Sri Bhaktivedanta Thakur, supporting the statements of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, depicts the position of the present so-called Hindu religion, which, being predominantly conducted by the Mayavad philosophy, has become a hodgepodge institution of various concocted ideas. Mayavadis greatly fear the Krishna conscious movement and accuse it of spoiling the Hindu religion because it accepts people from all parts of the world and all religious sects and scientifically engages them in the Daiva Varnashram Dharma. As we have explained several times, however, we find no such word as Hindu in the Vedic literature. The word most probably came from Afghanistan, a predominantly Muslim country, and originally referred to a pass in Afghanistan known as Hindu Kush, which is still part of a train route between India and various Muslim countries. Okay. Se Acharya Kripara Bhajan Anayase Pailase Chaitanya Charam. By the mercy of Adwaita Acharya, the devotees who strictly follow the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attain the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet without difficulty. Achudera Jay Mata Se Mata Sar Arajata Mata Saba Hoila Charakar. It should be concluded, therefore, that the path of Achyutananda is the essence of spiritual life. Those who did not follow this path simply scattered. Say Acharya Gane Mora Koti Namaskar Achyutananda Praya Chaitanya Jivana Jahar. That's Achyutananda, of course, is Adwaita Acharya's son. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances millions of times to Achyutananda's actual followers, whose life and soul was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seta Kohilan Acharya Gosaira Gan Tina Skanda Shakar Koila Sankepa Ganan. Thus I have briefly described the three branches, Achyutananda, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal, of Sri Adwaita Acharya's descendants. Shakopa Shakatara Nahika Ganan Kichumatra Kahikori Digdarashan. There are multifarious branches and sub-branches of Adwaita Acharya. It is very difficult to enumerate them fully. I have simply given a glimpse of the whole trunk and its branches and sub-branches. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Shakate Mahotama Taru Bashaka Kichu Kori Jay Ganan. After describing the branches and sub-branches of Adwaita Acharya, I shall now attempt to describe some of the descendants of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, the most important among the branches. Shaka Shrestha Dhruvananda, Sridhara Brahmachari, Bhagavadacharya Haridasa Brahmachari. The chief branches of Sri Gadadhar Pandit were Sri Devananda, Sridhar Brahmachari, Haridas Brahmacharya and Raghunath Bhagavadacharya. Anandacharya Kavidata Mishra Nayan Ganga Mantrik Mamutakur Kandabaran. The fifth branch was Anantacharya, the sixth Kavidata, the seventh Nayana Mishra, the eighth Ganga Mantri, the ninth Mamutakur, and the 10th Kanjabaran. Bhugarbha Gosayara Bhagavata Das Jai Duyashi Koila Brindavane Bas. The 11th branch of Gadadhar Goswami was Bhugarbha Gosai, and the 12th was Bhagavat Das. Both of them went to Vrindavan and resided there for life. Baninath Brahmachari, Bora Mahashai, Malabha Chaitanya Das, Krishna Premamoy. The 30th branch was Vaninath Brahmachari, and the 13th branch was Vaninath Brahmachari, and the 14th was Vallabha Chaitanya Das. Both of these great personalities were always filled with love of Krishna. Srinath Chakravarti Ara Uddhavadas Chitamrita Kashi Kand. Srinath Chakravarti Ara Uddhavadas Chitamrita Kashtakata Jagannatha Das. The 15th branch was Srinath Chakravarti, the 16th Uddhava, the 17th Jita Mitra, and 18th Jagannath Das. Sri Hari Acharya Sadi Puriya Gopal, Krishnadas Brahmachari Pushpa Gopal. The 19th branch was Sri Hari Acharya, the 20th Sadi Puriya Gopal, the 21st Krishnadas Brahmachari, and the 22nd Pushpa Gopal. Sri Harsha Raghumishra Pandita Lakminath Bhagavati Chaitanya Das Sri Raghunath. The 23rd branch was Sri Harsha, the 24th Raghumishra, the 25th Lakshminath Pandit, the 26th Bhagavati Chaitanya Das, and the 27th Raghunath. Amoga Pandita Hasti Gopal Chaitanya Vallabha Jadu Ganguliara Mangala Vaishnava. The 28th branch was Amoga Pandit, the 29th Hasti Gopal, the 30th Chaitanya Vallabha, the 31st Jadu Ganguli, and the 32nd Mangala Vaishnava. Chakravarti Shivananda Sarabrajabasi Mashaka Madhyeteho Sudrida Bishvasi. Shivananda Chakravarti, the 33rd branch, who always lived in Vrindavan with firm conviction, is considered an important branch of Gadadhar Pandit. Eta Sankepi Kohilan Pandit Eragan Aichayara Shaka Upashaka Ganan. Thus I have briefly described the branches and sub-branches of Gadadhar Pandit. There are still many more that I have not mentioned here. Panditera Ganasabha Bhagavata Danya Pranava Vallabha Sabha Sri Krishna Chaitanya. All the followers of Gadadhar Pandit are considered great devotees because they have Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their life and soul. 18 Skandara Kohilun Shakaraganan Ja Sabha Smarane Baba Bandavimochan. Simply by remembering all of these branches and sub-branches of the tree trunks I have described, Nityananda, Adwaita, and Gadadhar, one attains freedom from the entanglement of material existence. Jasabha smarane pai Chaitanya charan, Jasabha smarane hoy sanchita puran. Simply by remembering the names of all these Vaishnavas, one can attain the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Indeed, simply by remembering their holy names, one achieves the fulfillment of all desires. Atevata sabar banditye charan Chaitanya malira kohe lila anukran. Therefore, offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of them all, I shall describe the pastimes of the gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in chronological order. Gora Lilamrita Sindhu Gora Lilamrita Sindhu Apara Agada Ke Korite Pare Tahan Avagada Sada Gora Lilamrita Sindhu Apara Agada Ke Korite Pare Tahan Avagaha Sada. The ocean of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is immeasurable and unfathomable. Who can have the courage to measure that great ocean? Tahara Madhurya Gande, Lubda Hoiman, Ateva Tate Rohi, Chaki Eight Khan. It is not possible to dip into that great ocean, but its sweet, mellow fragrance attracts my mind. I therefore stand on the shore of that ocean to try to taste but a drop of it. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 12th chapter, describing the expansions of Adwaita Acharya. And Gadadhar does. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 12th chapter, describing the expansions of Adwaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. Shri Rupa Raghunath Padijaras Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Okay. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Mananaman Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Adwaita Chandra Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Adwaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jaoite Vignana Shavista Puran Echai Gosai Charmui Taradas Sasabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abilas Echai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dash Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Adwaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishwavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Srila Bhakti Tilak Neriya Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Sri Navadip Dham ki jai, Sri Ram Mayapur ki jai, Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Koladvik ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai, Ganga Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai, Shri Kadasi Upavas ki jai, Shri Damodar, Shri Kartik Vrata ki jai, Shri Damodar Vrata ki jai, Shri Niyama Seva ki jai, Shri Urja Vrata ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.